Well, howdy everyone, and thanks for inviting me to your campfire here. And I do want to apologize right off the bat. I laid my clothes out in the evening, and then I woke up and I put on the wrong set of clothes. I was supposed to put on my campfire clothes, nice pair of khaki trousers and my flannel shirt. I like wearing that. It's a real light flannel shirt. It's threadbare, but it's been a lucky shirt. And of course I had my hat. I guess I put on golf clothes. And I usually don't golf, but I don't know. Maybe I was going through some of the, cleaning some things out of my closet. So I'm wearing, I'm wearing golf clothes. I don't know how that happened. I do apologize, so just wanted to get that out there. It feels real good to be here. Thank you for inviting me to your venue. And my name is Bobby Ain. Just get right down to it. I didn't give myself that name. It was given to me. And I'm a singer-songwriter. I sing about, the nature folk movement. The nature folk movement, what is it? Well, it's a big thing if people are just calling it by its acronym, NFM. And I've been seeing that a lot recently, and mostly because I write it down, and I'm writing it, and I see it. And I'm waiting for somebody else to write it down, but I think they will be writing it down. And the nature folk movement's about getting back to the campfire. In recent times, we're all consumed with these digital devices, and more, there's kind of this urge to get reconnected to nature. And there's no better way to connect to nature. Well, I would say there's two ways in South Florida. One is through the water cycle. We don't have the normal seasons. Up north, they have spring, summer, winter, and fall. But down here, we have... Nobody's really sure. Some people think there's 6 seasons, and they have unusual names. And then some people say, no, it's 2 seasons. It's a wet season and a dry season. And during the wet season, it rains every day for 24 hours straight. And that's not the case. We call it the rainy season. Sometimes it rains for an hour a day, but it rains so hard that it forms these giant puddles. And there's no bigger puddle in South Florida than the Everglades and the Big Cypress. It's just one big puddle during the wet season. You go out there during the summer, don't plan on keeping your socks dry. They're going to be soggy socks. And I know what you're thinking. You don't want soggy socks, but there's no place more beautiful in the world than going out in the Everglades or the Big Cypress. It's just a one-of-a-kind place. And then the other season's the dry season, and that's when the sun comes out. And actually, the sun's out all during the summer, too. It only rains for that 1 hour. But then during the dry season, those afternoon storms, they don't show up anymore. They pack their bags and they head somewhere. I think they head up north, or they might go under the equator. And when I say under, clouds kind of start to turn upside down there, because, that's a side topic, but I often wonder how people walk around all day in Australia and Brazil, and especially in the Arctic Circle, upside down. That's just crazy. They're bad people down there. So there's no better way. And then some people say how do you connect with nature in South Florida? It's through the water cycle. And there's 2 seasons, the wet season, the dry season. Some people, to the unacquainted, they just think it's the same season all year round in Florida, air conditioned season. Or, they just lose track because they're always walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. And if it's really cold, they'll put a scarf on. They won't even put a sweater on, just a scarf. I like to think of the seasons or the water cycle as a proxy for the seasons in South Florida. It's a great way to connect with nature. If you know what's going on with the water cycle, that gives you an inside picture window into what's going on with the natural world around you. Because we know in South Florida, it's all about the water. And actually, caveat, also the fire. We're a flood and fire adapted ecosystem out here in the Everglades and Big Cypress. Every square inch of flora and fauna depend on a Goldilocks prescription and regular return interval of flood and fire. That's what the plants and the animals really love. The deer love it when the fire moves through, because then the new growth, that's just extra delicious for them. It gives them all the nutrients they need. And, well, the list goes on. So the water cycle, that's one place to connect with nature, but down in South Florida, or anywhere, I would say the campfire is the nighttime equivalent of the water cycle. It's where we gather to connect with ourselves and each other. And if you have a guitar, around a campfire, that just is the icing on the cake. And I don't know about you, but I like a cake with a lot of icing, or a little bit of icing, not too much. Cupcakes are good too. I really enjoy a cupcake. You know how I eat a cupcake? I kind of take the cake off and then I put it on top. Anyhow, I had a cupcake the other day and I just can't stop thinking about it. Can't stop thinking about it. So that's really the two ways, and that's what the nature folk movement's all about. And my name, as I said, is Bobby Angel. I'm a little bit of a singer-songwriter. I never set out to be a singer-songwriter, I'll have you know that. I started my life as a hydrologist in a national park, and then I just noticed one day, went into work, and people started to leave. And I said, "Where are you going?" And they said, "We're going to another park. We got a job." And I said, "Well, wait a minute. Let me, And then they were kind of collecting, for them, in an envelope. I couldn't fit my guitar in the envelope. I tried to get the guitar in the envelope, and it ripped the envelope. The money, it was a windy day. The money flew out everywhere. And they said, "Bob, don't put your guitar in the envelope. Why don't you sing a farewell song?" And that's what I did. My first song was, I remember Christine. I said, I have a song. Marsha's leaving. She was the one, she flew around in the airplane tracking the Panthers, trying to figure out where the Panthers are at and counting their numbers, because there was a time just a couple decades ago where the Panthers were Florida Panther was almost extirpated from the face of the earth. And that's when some biologists got together and they said, "Hey, here's how many are there, and here's what we need to do to protect them. We need to introduce some Texas cougars, and then that'll increase and make them their population and make them a little more healthy." You still see a panther nowadays wearing a cowboy hat, and that's because of their western lineage, from the Texas cougars. They took the Texas cougars back to Texas, and they still write long distance to each other, I'm sure. I mean, that's just a panther style, is to write a letter. So this song, I wrote to Marsha after I got done, and it was an ode to her. She was up there flying around trying to figure out how many panthers there were and where they were going and where they were crossing the road. So wherever they crossed the road, she would then land the plane, and she kind of mark a chalk mark on the road there, and that's where they built a wildlife crossing. So then the panthers, could walk across under the road instead of over top the road. And that's just a lot safer for everybody, helps us be more harmonious with nature. So Bobby Angel got his start doing these farewell songs, and this first farewell song I'm going to sing is about Marsha. Let me just tune this string here and we'll get into it. This is a story about Marsha and a cat. Every morning Marsha would get up and give her dogs a pat. Thunder would slobber and Tahoe would stare when Marsha told him she was gonna go flying in the air. That cat would try to bed down for a good day's rest at dawn, but it wouldn't take long before she'd hear that airplane song. It got so loud the cat couldn't hear herself holler, and then it suddenly dawned on her it might have something to do with the collar. Marsha, 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 Marsha's flying today. Yeah. Later that morning, Marsha noticed the beep was stuck, so then she landed and swamp buggied her way across the muck with a GPS unit until she surrounded the beeping sound, and right next to a palmetto she found a lone collar on the ground. The cat was elated, she was finally free. That cat was happy, just as happy as could be. In celebration she went on a murderous spree and killed some crazy looking antelopes up on the Indian reservation. Oh, Marsha, 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 Marsha is crying today. Later that day, Marsha got the big news. That professor put together a deal she couldn't refuse. Marsha accepted, but only on one condition. She said she wouldn't go unless she got every cat's permission. Well, word got around real quick in the cat world. It wouldn't be the same without their cat girl. All of them agreed it would be a great place for her to go, except for that one collarless cat who mailed in a veto. Masha, 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 Masha is moving away. The collarless cat got all bent out of shape, but when she got to Marco, they told her it was too late. They said that Marcia had gone up north to school to study, so that collarless cat hopped the interstate to find her buddy. Now every night, if you listen real close, you can hear them cats a crying, 'cause they all grown so morose. Their flying friend is gone and moved away, but they hope to have a chance to see her again someday. Masha, 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 Masha will fly again someday. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I always enjoy it. You know, I sing this song and it's a walk down memory lane because I wrote the song many a moon ago, or many a sun ago, as I say, or many a solar red spot. Because you have the sun the moon goes around every 27 days, whereas the sun's usually every day. Sometimes there'll be a cloudy day and you won't see the sun, but it's still up there, it's just behind the clouds. But you don't say many a sun ago. Really, when you're talking about days gone by, you think sun and not moon. So I'm a little torn on the expression. And I'm trying to say, many a solar flare cycle. The sun goes through cycles, and it could be going through one now. So this song gives me a nostalgic feel, just about times gone by, and I wonder where Marcia is now. And my understanding is she moved clear across country, and she's still working with animals. She had a real passion for animals then, and she still does. And it's just nice to sit here around this campfire, and thank you so much for inviting me to your campfire and allowing me the privilege of singing this song to you, because it's just, it's a privilege to be a singer-songwriter. Like I said, I never set out to be one. I set out to be a hydrologist, and I kind of evolved into one over time. And I don't know when or how that happened. I didn't even give myself my name. That's the thing. I was kind of looking for a stage name, and I was like, Bobby, and somebody said Angel. As soon as they said Angel, somebody else overheard them saying Angel, and word spread quickly. And I wasn't even decided on the name, but everybody, for the next campfire farewell I did, they wrote down Bobby Angel will be there. So it kind of became official. Once it's written down, I was like, well, okay, I'm Bobby Angel. So you don't pick your nickname. When you're born, I have one friend, and he told me when he was born, he picked his name. But he's the one exception, and I don't even know if I should believe his story. But everybody else just gets a name, it's given to them, and then even your nickname, it's usually given to you. You don't go up to people and say, hey, I want to be called, Red. Why do you want to be called Red? It's my favorite color, or it usually doesn't work that way. Somebody else gives you the name, and then eventually you can write the name down yourself, but you don't, you're not giving people a short list and say, hey, here's the names, my nicknames I'm thinking of. What do you think, is the best one? That's not how it works. So I started out, studying the water. This next song is a little bit about the water, or it has some elements of the water in it. So why don't we get to the song, and then we'll think about it and talk about it some more, and I'm just going to launch right into it. Midstream, it's where I long to be. Midstream, it's where I long to be. Don't want to go to the other bank. I've been there before, so no thanks. And I don't want to return to the other shore. There ain't nothing for me there anymore. Midstream, midstream, it's where I wanna be. Midstream, midstream, it's where I wanna be. Midstream, 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 midstream. Who cares if I get swept away? Sounds better than having to stay. Or maybe it's not too late to turn back the clock and reclaim my fate. Midstream, 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 it's where I wanna be. Midstream, midstream, it's where I wanna be. Getting there, it isn't what counts. It's never the end when the ship goes down. Or maybe it is, you never know. It's called learning to go with the flow. Midstream, 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 midstream. Midstream, 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 it's where I wanna be. Midstream, midstream, it's where I go. It's where I go to dream. Bobby Angel. Well, there you have it. You know, what I like about that song is it's just a campfire classic. You sing it in front of a campfire and it just conjures back all these memories. And, you know, that's the thing about a farewell song, too. You know, you would otherwise sing it once, you know, the person's farewell party. You sing the song and then you don't even learn it that good. You know, it's really only with repetition that you get good at something. So I'm glad to be able to be at this campfire to get some reps in on some songs that I'd otherwise just sing once. And, you know, who knows, maybe the person, you know, the universe is connected in some very crazy ways. So maybe we're singing this song right now and the person I wrote that for is thinking about the song as we're singing it, or thinking about their bygone days down in the swamp. So I don't doubt magical things happen like that around the campfire. So I do want to thank you for inviting me to your campfire. It's always an honor and it's a privilege. And I'm just, you know, glad to be able to get the reps in. Glad to be able to get the reps in because that's the only way you get good at anything. I think practice. Yeah, practice. I always say that initial success is the kiss of death. You know, if you strike gold on the first time you hit the hammer on the ground, you're probably not going to figure out, you know, how you did that. It's going to be vexing you your whole life. You know, okay, I got I struck the hammer down and there was gold, but you have to fail a couple times before you really figure out the pathway to finding that nugget of gold and, you know, sieving through the water. So you only do that with reps. And that's with whether you're, you know, have a pickaxe looking for the gold or out by a river sieving for it or getting your reps in for, you know, some farewell songs that would otherwise only be sung once. So thank you so much for inviting me to your campfire, and maybe I'll just do some strumming here and we'll talk to you next time. Let's do this again. I'm looking forward to another campfire.